The Cleveland Cavaliers select Evan Mobley.
Has been a historical franchise in this league for years.
We have a trade to announce. The Boston Celtics select Jason Tatum.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the NBA Front Office Show. I wish I had a buzzer or something. We have a trade. We talked about this in the Friday episode. We said, you know what? We're probably going to wind up having to do a weekend episode because something's going to happen. And here we go. And Keith, and it happens to be a move that we've been talking about for weeks now. Caris LeVert headed to Cleveland.
Yeah, I think it was within days of Colin Sexton going down that we started talking about this one. And I threw it out there immediately. Caris LeVert makes sense for them. Then when Ricky Rubio went down, we kind of doubled down on this. And there was a lot of people saying, I just don't know. I don't know that they'll go that direction. You know, who knows and everything. And yet here we are. So full trade details. The Indiana Pacers acquire Ricky Rubio, a lottery-protected 2022 first-round pick from Cleveland, a 2022 second-round pick from Cleveland that is via the Houston Rockets, and a 2027 second-round pick from Cleveland that comes from the Utah Jazz. And the Cavs will acquire Caris LeVert and a 2022 second-round pick from Miami. So essentially, if I have this correct, let me pull it up. It's Caris LeVert in a second and a lottery protected first for Ricky Rubio, because the other two picks will flop. But what's interesting is that Houston pick is completely unprotected. So that's going to be a good pick, right, in the second round. That's going to be probably a top 4 pick. And then that Miami pick will probably be a bottom 5-ish pick is my guess somewhere. So nice haul from the Pacers side, but I think we'll get to them in a minute. Let's get to the Cavs because they're the ones clearly loading up here.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about the Cavs first. And we'll talk about what they spent, but just in general, in terms of what they're doing here, going out and getting a guy, I love it. We've been talking about this. You're the Cavs. You're the surprise success story of the season. They've been fantastic. You suffered a blow when you lose Colin Sexton. You've had a few injuries this year. You don't want to let this slip through your fingers, though. You want to make sure that you stay firmly in the playoff mix. Who knows if things break right? Maybe you're in the finals. And I think going out and making a move like this is absolutely what Cleveland had to do. The opportunity was presented to them to make something out of this season that most of us thought would be another year of getting a high draft pick. Instead, they found themselves in the position they're in now where they are a very, very good team in the Eastern Conference, one of the best teams in terms of point differential. And I love this move from them. When you're in this situation, you go for it, you go get a guy, and they did. And I think Caris LeVert fits pretty well for them.
Yeah, a lot of people are already saying, well, is he going to throw off what they've built and their starting group and all that? I'm not told he's going to start for them. I think he may come off the bench and they may stick with that when they're healthy, stick with that Garland and Okoro backcourt with the 3 bigs with Markkanen, Mobley, and Allen, and then bring LeVert in and you kind of plug him in and say, all right, you're the new Rubio. You're going to, we're going to kind of run the offense through you. We said, what was it, a month or so ago now when they acquired Rajon Rondo, that was a placeholder and a get by. And now what that does is Garland's missed a few games with back issues. So if that continues to be a thing, you can run the offense through LeVert and Rondo. Brandon Goodwin is there for additional depth if you need it on a 2-way. So so it really, now what you've done is you've taken a hole in your roster with Ricky Rubio's absence and you've plugged it in my new favorite term, a no production loss trade, because you weren't getting anything from Rubio the rest of this year. As great as he had played for them early, that was done because he's out for the season. So now you're bringing in LeVert. I unless he comes in and throws a fit and is like, I have to start and starts taking a million shots and all this stuff, I can't see how this goes wrong. And I don't think it will. I think this is going to be a situation where they either plug him in as a starter, but it's maybe an early sub and they do some funky things. It opens up some smaller lineups for them, which they didn't really need to play. So yeah, I'm all for this one for Cleveland.
Moving forward, from a cap perspective, what does this mean for the Cavs?
Yeah, they're going to be expensive next year. A little bit more than what they plan to be. They take on some money this year as well. They're going to get a little bit tighter to the cap. Let me see where, guys. I normally I would have this prep work done, but we're slotting this show in quickly before I have to go cover the Boston game. Yeah, it's about a $900,000 addition onto their cap. Been taxed for, actually no, I apologize. That's next year's salary. They actually saved some money this year, about 300K. So nothing, net neutral for this year. Next year, they bring about $18.7 million on that they weren't necessarily expecting to have, but they should still be well clear of the tax and be able to re-sign Colin Sexton if they want to. And that now opens up a avenue there where maybe that's not quite as pressing of a need because you have Caris LeVert kind of filling what Sexton's role initially was for this team. There's still been talk Sexton maybe comes back, and then now you've got even more depth if that can happen before the end of this year. So yeah, I think it's great. And their pick was, it's looking, I mean, assuming everything keeps running the way it is, that pick is going to be a pick in the 20s. And that's, if you're Cleveland, do you need to add another pick in the 20s to this roster now? My thought is no. You've kind of got the guys you want to run with now going forward. So yeah, I think cap wise, tax wise, everything, it's all good. It kind of checks all the boxes for the Cavs.
Okay, let's jump to the Pacers then. What the Pacers are getting here, we're going to talk about this in a minute, but Woj says this is part of a dramatic overhaul that we're going to see from the Pacers. That means more moves are coming for Indiana, but focusing on this one, I think the Pacers' return here is pretty solid. Ricky Rubio, it's almost just it's not there, right? Just pretend like he's not even in the trade because he's not really. It's just a salary. He's just making the math work, and that's it. And then he'll be a free agent, and obviously he's out for the season with injury, so he's a non-factor in this. But you get a first-round pick. You get some seconds. Now you can say, oh, well, we had to give up a second too. Does that negate it? No, because you're getting back a much better second.
It moved up 20 slots,
which
easy.
Is huge. People tend to look at second rounders as, oh, a second rounder is a second rounder. No, that not all second rounders, just like all first rounders, are the same. So there's some teams that are actually like, if there's a pick that's say 27, 28, 29, 30, some teams would rather have pick 31 than pick 29, say, because of the different rules that are attached to that in terms of the salary that you have to give that player. So this can be a very valuable pick as well. So you're getting a first, it's lottery protected, but let's face it, the Cavs first probably not going to be in the lottery anyway. So, okay, fine. So you're getting a late first, plus you're getting a couple of seconds, and one of the seconds is a big improvement over the one that you're sending out. That's a pretty solid return, I think, for Indiana.
Yeah, big time. They're going to have two picks in the, let's say, 20 to 35 range now. And that's big, right? That's two picks to put with Chris Duarte, Malcolm Brogdon, whatever comes. If they do anything else, we'll get into that here in a second. But yeah, I think that's big. And, and then they get an additional second down the line. I mean, 2027, that's, Utah pick. Who the heck knows? Like, will we still be a planet in 2027? I mean, I don't even know. Let's see. But that one is, that's just kind of a bonus. We throw that in there and, greases the wheels a little bit to make this move. So, yeah, for the Pacers, I mean, I kind of agree. This is where we're starting. We're hitting the reset button here now because this is, you didn't get back a player that can help you at all in this trade. So, any kind of pipe dreams that they had of, well, maybe we can still get in this thing. I mean, they're 7 games out of the last play-in spot now. That's done. That ship has sailed. You're not making up that ground because you also, in addition to making up those 7 games, you'd have to pass both the Knicks and the Wizards as well. You'd have to play unbelievable the rest of the way. Almost, lose no games to make up 7 games with 20 something games to play. So now they can explore Turner. There was a report recently Turner may be back by the beginning of March. If that's the case, that opens up his trade availability because you're not looking at that as this is a 2-year trade opportunity we can really push. If you're a team like the Hornets that really needs a big man, you could maybe say, all right, let's go get Miles Turner now there. And then, I used to be thinking it was Turner or Sabonis. Now I kind of wonder, could it be both if you really wanted to hit that reset button, fully and go? You've got a couple other interesting guys, could you, see if somebody wants to take Jeremy Lamb for, a minor second rounder. They're now within range too, pending what they do in a Turner or Sabonis or both trade, of being a cap space team this summer, because you wiped out $18.8 million off your books next year, because now you're going to have that gone and you can just renounce Rubio. One thing on Rubio, I bet he goes back to Cleveland as a free agent this summer. People are saying, but they traded him. You can't. That's only if a guy gets waived and bought out that restriction applies. His contract will expire. The Pacers don't have any reason to buy him out because he doesn't want to go anywhere. So it doesn't make any reason, unless they really say, hey, we'll just eat the salary and waive him for a roster spot reason. Maybe that could happen later, but for now, they'll just go. And then even if that happens, that still works because his contract wasn't expiring. We'll see, where that all comes down. But that's my guess is, he heads back to Cleveland as long as he makes it to the end of this deal. So, but yeah, Indiana. Let's see what comes now over the next 4 days, because it's clear we're headed in that reset direction, maybe leaning more towards rebuild, even though their owner said he doesn't want to do that.
It's, I think, an important step for the Pacers. I think it's the right step. We'll see. Is it both Sabonis and Turner that go out? Is it just one of them? We'll see what winds up happening. Obviously, it depends on the offers between now and the trade deadline. But this is good in terms of us having a busy trade deadline, right? Because now we've seen 2 deals in the last few days. I think we're going to have some more come out here. And if the Pacers this is step 1 for them, that means we've got at least probably a couple more deals here from Indiana as well that we're going to be getting into. So there's a lot going on right now. This also signals to the NBA that, hey, this isn't just talk. The Pacers are really sellers. It's easy to say, oh, I'm selling this player, but until you actually pull the trigger on something, it's just talk. So now the message has been sent, clearly the direction the Pacers are going, and we'll see what happens with the negotiations for those other guys. To kind of put a bow on this, let me hit you with this. Did the Pacers just get more for Caris LeVert than the Blazers got for Norman Powell and Robert Covington?
You have to really like Keon Johnson,
right?
Quite a bit they may have getting a first round pick, and that's crazy because Norman Powell's a better player than Caris LeVert is. Different player. Caris LeVert can really run your offense, and that's kind of a little bit more what the Cavs need. But yeah, that's a good call. Couple just interesting little tidbits here. Joe Varden, who covered Cleveland for a long time, covers the NBA for The Athletic, tweeted actually yesterday that there might be a deal in the works here. With that, and his note on it was because Cleveland is playing the Pacers in like an hour or so here in Indiana or in Cleveland tonight, I believe. Let me check that and make sure. I think it's Pacers at Cavaliers. So the story already came out that he walked into the arena and was told, "Hey, head in and take this phone call real quick from Kobe Altman, who is now his new general manager."
You're in the wrong locker room.
In Cleveland. Yeah, right. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's the like Moneyball, right? Where he's like, I don't want Rincon pitching against me tonight. Send him over to the other locker room. It clearly the deal would have to get finalized extremely quickly, but it would be hilarious if he played tonight for the Cavs against the Pacers. Even funnier though that somebody said is, what if the Jarrett Allen, Caris LeVert led Cavaliers knocked the Nets out of the playoffs?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. This is a reunion.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my. The Harden trade coming full circle. Okay. This is it's a fun trade because I think this one makes sense for both teams. And I think it's something where both teams got something that they needed. I do agree. Yep. I think the Pacers just did better than the Blazers did. Maybe that's not saying much because we weren't very high on what the Blazers got, but still, sure. This is, another step towards the trade deadline. And I think this is a good sign moving forward that we'll see some more activity on the market. So good stuff here for the Cavs, good stuff for the Pacers as well. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that we do somehow get the weirdness of Caris LeVert playing for the Cavs tonight against the Pacers.
It'd be amazing. I hope
Basketball
so.
gods,
Yeah.
make it so. Make it so.
Yeah. It's going to be really, really interesting to see where the Pacers go this summer now with this one. But yeah, man, let's go. Let's get Caris LeVert. He can play tonight. Get him a uniform. Like we used to do back in the day, right? Put his name and number on the back and tape, and just go. Get out there. Ball, make some plays. Figure it out. You don't need to know the playbook. Just get him the ball, ISO, and run it.
Absolutely. It's just playground ball. Throw it out there and let's go. Let's make this thing happen.
Unfortunately, we're probably going to see him play in a couple days.
Yep.
But we can dream.
All right, everybody. Give us your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about this trade? Do you think that the Pacers won the trade? Do you think the Cavs won the trade? Do you believe, kind of like Keith and I do, that we think it was actually a mutually beneficial trade? I like it for both sides. But give us your take in the comment section. Don't forget, subscribe right here to the NBA Front Office Show. Turn on those notifications as well. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, make sure you're following us over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Till next time, everybody, hope you're all having a great weekend. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled weekday shows tomorrow. Till then, see ya and stay safe.